Happy Friday, everyone. It's so good to be back and doing these sessions with you where we come together as a group to receive some energy healing. I use Body Talk as my main modality, but I use all of the tools on my tool belt. As you can see, I've got a new background. I'm working from my new dining area. My internet in my office doesn't quite reach. So from today, I am joining you in my new home in my dining area. All right, so let's hop right into it. There's already a burp coming up, which means that there's some already energy moving. And I was speaking with the people, the person that came on live, and we had a really great discussion about what people necessarily call the dark side or the shadow or shadow work. And I have a different perspective on that. I have a different name for it. It's really the wounded child, or the original wound, or those things that happened in childhood that really affected your mental, emotional psyche, that psyche within you, and that led to that psychic wounding. And as you move into adulthood, no one really tells us how to grow up, or there are even some adults that are still in some capacity dealing with from that wounded place. So we all are. This is not something that's special to anyone, or that there's anything fundamentally wrong with you. Is we all have these wounds from our childhood, and we bring them along like luggage into our adult years. Now, the prefrontal cortex only develops by the between, some say 21, some say 25. It's really in that kind of early mid 20ish, where this prefrontal cortex develops, and you can start making that higher reasoning, those higher choices. But if you have intended to, the psychic wounding, or that the things that happen to you in childhood that are running the show, so the things underneath the surface that are running the show, then that's the things that are going to manifest in your life, whether it be, difficulties within the body, difficulties in your life, difficulties within relationship. And so we come together and do this work to take a look at the wounding, taking a look at the dysfunction, or what's not working within, that's stored within the body, that's ready to be observed, to be released. And there's nothing to do. I really love, this is what I love most about this work. There's no recipes, there's nothing to do. We're doing the work together right now, and whatever shows up in this session, your prefrontal cortex will decide what you need, and you'll take from it what you need, and then you'll leave the rest. And then your body gets to doing the most important work and healing. So, with that being said, I'm being drawn to the back of the head, the occiput. Now, the occipital brain is responsible for sight. So it links in through the optic nerve. You've got your eyes, and then you've got the optic nerve that does a crisscross, and then it goes into the occiput. But we're dealing within not the eyes, we're dealing within the occipital brain to shed away perspectives. So old perspectives, so habits are coming up here. So this can even be a habit of the way that you look at something. So perhaps that occipital brain has the filter of, everything's bad. Looking for the nitty gritty, or that nitpickingness. So whether that be nitpicky about yourself, or being nitpicking about others, or micromanaging, it has that depressive coding on top of it. So that's one filter that we're going to dump from that occipital brain. And a really great way to start to dispel some of this negativity, or grayness, is to have an attitude of gratitude, even if there's struggle, even if there's difficulty, even if you're dealing with difficult people, even if there's difficulty within your family, or with finances or relationship, wherever you can bring to the surface where you're having difficulties, or something that you're struggling with. And We're going to strip away, we're going to anchor to the heart, to individuate, meaning to grow up. Individuation means literally to grow up. Growing up from those old perspectives, growing up from this habit of looking for the doom and gloom, that everything is bad. There's always a slither of light. There's always something to be grateful for, even if it's so small. So my grandmother's wisdom is coming up now. I can hear her voice in the back of my head. And she used to say, Monica, no matter what you have, even if it's not like the fanciest thing, whatever you have, you tend to it with care and you're be grateful for it. Tend to it. Tend to the thing. So even if you don't have you're not living in a five-star hotel as a house, whatever home you have, you tend to it with care. Your furniture, even if it's not the best furniture or best furniture, meaning that it's not brand new, it could be used, it could be a little worn, it doesn't matter. You tend to that furniture. Oh, I've got a little bit of tears coming up because I'm remembering my grandmom and my babcha. So this is a little shout out to my grandmother and her wisdom coming through here. Uh, and to have gratitude for the things, relationships, the things that do come in somehow magically. So I'm gonna give you a little story here. My fridge was completely empty. I had just moved. I actually don't have a fridge. I don't have a full fridge. And I was like, I have no fridge. But somehow, my amazing daughter-in-law and my son said, Mom, we got a mini fridge. You go ahead and take it. And all of a sudden I had no fridge. I went from having no fridge to having a small little fridge to put some food in. And then I was like, well, I have no food. And it was late. And then next thing you know, I've got come over for dinner. And so my kids and I were fed. Or, oh, here, have this. Or, and it was boiling hot. And I was like, oh my God, I need a fan. And then my new neighbor goes, oh, don't I have, here's a fan. I'm not using it anymore. So there's always these spaces, these cracks, these little pieces of light that can come in. So we're dumping this, everything is bad. I could have gone into the space of, oh my God, very dramatically, I have no fridge, I'm boiling hot, it's melting outside, I have no food to eat. I was grateful. And somehow the magic in the mundane, somehow these things just came in without expectation. Now, I'm not saying that this is a recipe, that this is always going to happen, but seems like magic seems to take place, especially when there's gratitude. So in through that occipital brain, I'm seeing the neural connectomes and the fascial system, and we're lighting it up. We're bringing in that energy of gratitude through that occipital brain, especially through the fascial system and those neural connectomes, dumping that doom and gloom. So we're anchoring that to the heart, growing up from those habitual thinking habits of only seeing what's bad. So this is really interesting. So a mirror as a visual popped in, and the house that I'm living in now, it's a beautiful home, but she's rough. She's a fixer-upper, and I love this house. And we don't have any mirrors up. I don't really have any mirrors up. And it was actually the best thing not to have a mirror up in my house. I had no idea what I looked like I forgot even. I didn't even pay attention to. I actually didn't care what I looked like. And so we're dumping that narcissism from the eyes, right? Falling in love with your own image and seeing yourself not for who you are, but for who you think you should be. And so we're dumping from the eyes through the retina all of that self-perception. And it's usually misperception. So negative, not a negative, a pathological consciousness is being dumped from the eyes, misperceptions of self. So this is where we're going to have a few things coming up. You can perceive yourself to be really ugly. You can perceive yourself to be overly beautiful. Perhaps you're just ordinary. I'm not saying that you're not beautiful, but maybe you're not a five-star model. There's only a small amount of people who have that level of physical beauty, and the amount of work that goes into being a model is the sacrifices that come along with that are quite high. So we're dumping from there those misperceptions of self. Perhaps you see yourself as obese. Perhaps you see yourself as super thin. All of these misperceptions of how you think you look and how you think you should look really skew how you treat yourself and how you approach the world. There's another big energy release happening there. So we're dumping misperceptions of self from the retina, um, and also the ocular nerve. Oof, that's coming in quite strong. Oh, there's some big breath there, anchoring that to the heart for release. All right, everything went quiet, and we're done for today. Is there anything else? No, that is all. What a beautiful little tune-up. I'm going to tap this in here. There you go. If you're interested or curious about the work that I do, please reach out. You can send me a comment on YouTube, or you can reach me at my email at monikamarczuk@gmail.com. You can get me on my website as well, www.mmarzuk, marczuk.com. Please reach out. I'd love to hear about your shifts, about any aha moments, about maybe what you're going through in life. And as always, thank you all for watching. If you found me, please like, subscribe, and share. And I will see you all next week.